Live very long at all. All of your youthful idealism gives way to the harsh realities of life itself. When you were a teenager, you thought you knew everything. But when you got to put everything in practice, you found out it wasn't as easy as you thought it was. Life has a way of humbling you. Life has a way of making you close your mouth. There are moments in your life that you feel overwhelmed by life, by people, by your own issues, by your own circumstances, by demands, by struggles, and yes, by temptations. It reminds me very much of the fight scenes in the movies. If you watch the fight scenes in the movies and it's 5 guys fighting 1 guy, it's interesting how they come at him one at a time. In the movies, you can do karate if they come one at a time. But if all 10 of them come at the same time, you only got 2 legs to kick. What are you going to do with the other 8? And sometimes we like to think that life comes to us in courses, but it does not. In reality, sometimes you got 10 issues and they all hit you in the same weekend. Not long before you feel overwhelmed. Say to yourself, I can't take it anymore.
Easy is not an option. It's hard living. Life is hard. See, it's hard when you're 49 years old, been working on a job for 17 years, and they come in and tell you you're finished and give you 1 week severance pay. And you got to start all over again. It's hard when you're married and raising children and your children are crawling and your husband dies unexpectedly. It's hard handling just the tragedies of life. It's hard when you're working on something and you put everything you have in it and it doesn't work out. You lose your money and other people's money. It's hard how people look at you, how they respond to you. It's very hard. It's humiliating.
What do you do when life does not seem fair? How do you deal with it when it is not what you expected? When you find yourself with mighty visions and mighty goals dealing with people of mediocrity? How do you manage your miracles while you live with your miseries? These are the questions laid before us today. How do I survive in an unbearable situation? What do I do when it is no longer fun to be me? God is faithful. That's the good part. Who will not suffer you to be tempted above ye are able. It didn't say he wouldn't suffer you to be tempted above your comfort. It didn't say he wouldn't suffer you to be tempted above your convenience. It said he will not suffer you to be tempted above that which you are able. But the second thing that is equally as important is that the faithful God knows your ability. The faithful God knows your ability. Which brings us into an aspect of God that I want you to think with me about today. You didn't get here by yourself. You didn't create yourself. You didn't design yourself. That you are a derivative of the divine design of God. That God is your architect. That he has designed you like an architect designs a construct on a building. You must understand that though the architect does never drive a bulldozer or pick up a hammer or nail or lay a brick or block, he builds the building with specs to determine what grade of concrete, what level of steel, what type of wood can be put in the building. He designs the construct to determine how much weight that building can bear. Yes. You are a designer's original, a divine design. Yeah, I've been designed. I didn't just get here. I didn't just happen. I'm not just an incident. I'm not just a mistake. I have been designed. I have been designed, created to bear things that other people can't bear, and do things that other people can't do, and put up with things that other people can't put up with. I have been designed. That's why you ought not covet your neighbor's anything. Don't ask for their car. Don't ask for their house. Don't ask for their wife. Don't ask for their husband. Don't ask for their job. Don't ask for their ministry, because the worst thing in life is to be pushed into a position that you are not designed. You've been designed for. You've been designed. You've been designed. But just because you've been designed doesn't mean you don't feel the heat. Oh, at the things that we want God to lift off of us, only to hear him say, my grace is sufficient. Fix me so I don't hurt anymore. No, my grace is sufficient. Lord, if I'd have only been raised by my mother, I'd have been, no. My grace is sufficient. I wouldn't have let it happen to you without looking at the construct to determine the design, to make sure that I had put it in you what it took to withstand what life was going to do to you. Oh God. You don't hear what I'm saying? I put it in you before I let life do it to you. Oh, let me explain this, because I want you to understand that the God that we serve is absolutely and emphatically in control.
Here's what I discovered that happens to you in life, that you will go through things, and while you're going through them, you can't understand why it's happening to you. But after you go through it, you get back and you look at it and you say, oh, now I understand why I needed that lesson. Then I saw that that was preparing me for bigger and better things.
What you're going through right now is a discovery moment. It is a discovery moment. The stage you're at, the age you're at, the burdens you bear, these are discovery moments. Not moments where you discover how bad life is, but rather how strongly you have been created. Baby, only the strong survive. You can break if you want to. You can turn around and give up if you please. But God said, I'm not going to put my fruit in somebody who quits. God says, I'm not going to pour my investment in somebody who walks away. But the last man left standing, God said, I'm going to pour that into you. I have learned that even in my own life, experience kills off the weaknesses. Your childishness begins to die. Your fear begins to leave. You look at things now that you would have been all upset about 10 years ago, and you say, oh, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Don't worry about it. It's not that serious. Because that foolish part of you died in the last fight. That silly part of you died on the last battlefield. And now you're coming to a place that God makes a way of escape, but not so you can run. He says, I make a way of escape that ye may be able to bear it. People who gossip, people who spend their lives curious about other people, do it at the expense of never discovering who you are. And the reason you're so interested in who somebody else is because you have not invested enough in discovering who you are. This is a moment of discovery for you to find out who you are and what you are made of. Some people can believe God for everybody else but themselves. They have faith for everybody else but themselves. They encourage everybody but themselves because they do not know that they have what it takes. What is hiding in you? that you have not seen? What strength are you underutilizing that you're letting that weak thing whip you like